YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back on Total War Rome 2, and I've got some more Underdog Week replays for you. I have not gotten any more Athens campaign yet, so be patient. I'll have time to record a bunch this weekend. Remember that I'd been out of town and everything, and so getting back into this week wasn't quite normal for me, so I'm just doing my best to get you as many videos as I can. So I wanted to bring you the mother of all underdogs, according to most people, which is the Ardiaei. Though I don't think they're the worst faction in the game, to be honest. I feel like I would rather be using them than, say, like Pergamon or something, but maybe I would be wrong in that case. But in any case, the Ardiaei have great hoplites for the price, but hoplites are not known to be particularly effective in the game for anything other than trying to die whilst you get cavalry or skirmishers around to the flanks or something. So they do have very good armor, again, for the price. All the Illyrian hoplites come with great armor, good shield value, and they all have hoplite wall, and they're non-formation attack by nature, which actually makes them fairly effective as well. And they all have expert charge defense, so they're good at standing up to a charge. But my opponent here with the Getae has brought what I feel like is a very nice army. He's got 4 bow horsemen, and I should have brought slingers, and I didn't, and my opponent is going to punish me heavily for this by deploying further back and then making me walk forward while he unloads heavy shot on me, so I'm forced to run, because if I do not, he will start getting an absurd amount of kills. My Illyrian Marines are on the flank. I probably should have had them spread out more so that I could counter the bow horsemen a little better, but I did not. So my army, I want to say, is 10 infantry in total, so I think it's 8 Illyrian hoplites, 2 noble hoplites, 3 Tarentine cav, 1 Illyrian cav, and 5 Illyrian Marines. My only prayer is to hope that some of my infantry can hold long enough for me to swing these Marines around and just javelin the enemy infantry in the back. But my opponent has just as many infantry units as I do, and it's going to make this challenging. His army is very well set up, I think. He's got 2 heavy spears with axemen right behind him, so they're just going to absorb charges and then let the axemen finish the fight, which is a great way for them to fight. He's got 3 noble swords. I have absolutely no answer to these guys, none. They can hack through my infantry at will, and there's very little I can do about it. The expert charge defense will help do some damage to these guys at the beginning, but then after that they're just going to pick my men to bits. They've got a noble spear here too, which is a weird choice. I guess. Doesn't seem like a choice that I would make, but whatever. He's got 3 Dacian heavy bowmen as well, so he's actually come with a fair amount of skirmishing power. And I think the reason why he did the 4 bow horsemen rather than bringing any melee cav is because, seriously, what's Ardiaei going to use against you? Tarentine cav? Illyrian cav? Both of them are not particularly good at fending off bow horsemen. So it's an excellent choice on his part to not bring some of the shock cavalry and other stuff, because there's no need for it. His infantry is better than mine. And so he spent his money on extra skirmishers and other things that will hopefully help him through. So I'm just going to try and get into combat with my opponent, and then I want to get my hoplites up and halt with them so that they can actually use their expert charge defense. We'll see if I'm successful. I'm still running, still running, still running. I finally stop. And now my expert charge defense will get in effect over here where my guys are braced. So again, my guys will reflect some of the damage on the charge from these noble swords. A lot of good that did me, though. They still racked up 30 kills with no losses. Brilliant. 40 kills with no losses. So yeah, a lot of good that expert charge defense did for my men. Even the noble hoplites didn't get a single kill. Never mind. So expert charge defense did not do anything. It's best against units with lower armor. It doesn't work all that well against really tanky units like these noble swords. Anyway, I can outflank my opponent in a few spots, and I do. And see, back here I was throwing javelins with my... well, no, I can't throw javelins. These guys are hoplites, that's why I'm charging in. I brought my cavalry immediately to try and break the morale of his men here, but again, there's still horse archers flinging arrows at me everywhere, and it's kind of a problem. I did let my Tarentine cav get up here and get a decent number of kills on the enemy infantry, but again, they're under bow fire, horse fire, so I mean, I've got to do something here, so I try and pin down some of his bows for a minute while I bring in more Tarentine cav. Just trying to throw javelins straight into the back of his men. If I can just break a few of his units, I might have a prayer, but honestly, in my mind, it's too late. I didn't spread my line out thin enough. I really, really needed to get around the flanks of my opponent with my Illyrian Marines, and I did not accomplish this. And then part of me thinks that I might should have used my Illyrian Marines to fire more javelins on his infantry before entering combat too. Just all of those things could have potentially been helpful. I do manage to get his bows here, but it's still not going to be an answer to his bow horsemen. Now they have expended quite a bit of ammo, but I'm sure they still have quite a bit left as well. And I kind of start to get a breakthrough over here, and I'm going to move this Illyrian Marine around and start hurling javelins in the backs of these units. But you can see these Axe Warriors are very well suited to this type of combat. They're good against armor, and my men have a lot of armor and not so much attack or charge. So the Axe Warriors can really shine in this situation, so an excellent choice for my opponent as far as good units. Now this is what I had hoped to do with my Illyrian Marines, and hoped to use it to some pretty good effect. We'll see whether or not it actually works, but they have a lot of javelins, and so I was basically just going to line up behind the enemy and start hurling javelins into their back. And you can see that it does get you quite a few kills, and these guys have quite a few javelins. And that's the idea, basically. You just stand here, and it's not doing as much damage as I would like, though. Not as quickly as I need it to, at least. It's a decent idea, but I don't know if these guys fire fast enough, kind of like Peltist, in order for this to actually be effective, and their damage is lower. And then my opponent makes a great move here and just intercepts them with the unit to quit, make them stop doing this. It worked okay. You know, I killed 20 some odd men with this Illyrian Marine. Again, the idea is sound. I didn't execute very well here, and nor do I think that my opponent would have made it very easy for me to execute such a thing. So this is what's typical with the Ardiaei. They're going to experience a sound thrashing from most factions. But just aside from army pick and factions here, yes, I think my opponent had the better faction. Yes, I think he had the better army pick. But I think it's important for me to point out here that he just played better than me here. And that's a big reason why he's going to beat me so badly. So again, he was a fun opponent to play against. He was probably one of the more skilled opponents that I'd come up against in quite a while. And you never know what you're going to get on quick battle. Sometimes it's just hard to predict. But anyway, thanks to him for the fun game. Obviously playing Underdog Week, I'm surprised I don't have losses already. So I knew this was coming sooner or later. Actually got quite a few kills with these Tarantines. They were definitely worth it. And not so bad here. But as you can see, understandably, my infantry just gets trounced. All of his Axe Warriors, excellent. All of his infantry just did excellent. And again, this is going to be your challenge because the Ardiaei really don't have any killing power. So that's why I was going to try this gimmicky get around the flanks and hurl a bunch of javelins from the Marines tactic that didn't work. Because they just don't have any killing power. It's really hard for them to kill anything. So that's going to be your challenge with the Ardiaei, how you manage to do that. They would really work better against other spear-heavy factions, not so much against stuff like this, or factions that wield a lot of units with low armor. They might do better. But against factions that have powerhouse units like these Noble Swords, or just really good mid-tier units like these Axemen, it's just not good. Axemen is the last thing you want to be fighting with hoplites. It's really not a good battle for them. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing off for now, and I will be back soon with more Underdog Week.